Hello Dragons, and welcome to this instructional video for Lesson 4, Part 4, Organizing a New Nation. The main idea behind the civics lesson is the belief in government by the consent of the people led Americans to establish a government dedicated to preventing tyranny and protecting the rights of its citizens. With that in mind, by the end of watching this video, you will be able to describe the state and national governments Americans established after winning independence, and analyze reasons why Americans wanted a stronger national government. Now that the outcomes for this lesson have been shared with you, let's get started. Now that the colonies had become free and independent states, each of them had to organize a government of its own. Because the colonies had been established by charters, people were used to the idea of having a written plan of government. People also remembered that the Mayflower passengers had made a compact, a written agreement to make and obey laws for the welfare of the group. The newly independent states wanted to continue this tradition of basing governments on written agreements. Therefore, each state created a constitution or plan of government. By creating written constitutions, the states were clearly spelling out the limits on government power. Some state constitutions also included a list of citizens' rights, such as trial by jury and freedom of religion. To help guard against tyranny, each state constitution limited the number of years a governor could hold office. The states wanted to make it clear that a governor could not be like a king who holds office for life. As a further protection against abuse of power, each state used Montesquieu's idea of separating government into legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Of the three branches, the legislature was given the most power because it most directly represented the interests of its citizens. Although the states were united in opposing England, they were still 13 separate governments. During the war against England, the delegates to the Second Continental Congress debated how to form a national government. The delegates faced a difficult task. Conflicts with the English king and parliament had made the colonists fearful of giving power, especially the power to tax, to a central government. Also, the states disagreed on how many representatives each one should have in the national government. Large states like Virginia wanted the number of representatives to be based on population. Small states like Rhode Island were afraid that the large states, with more representatives, would then have too much power. They argued that each state should have the same number of votes. In 1777, after long and heated debate, the Continental Congress drew up a plan for a loose confederation, or alliance of independent states. This compact, known as the Articles of Confederation, called for a national legislature in which each state would have one vote. There would be no executive or judicial branches of government, mainly because the state legislatures feared that these branches might try to take power away from them. The national legislature, known as Congress, was given power to declare war, make treaties with foreign countries, and work out trade agreements between states. However, it was not given the power to tax or enforce any laws it made. Therefore, most of the power would remain with the states. Before the Articles of Confederation could go into effect, they needed the ratification or approval of all 13 states. At first, it seemed the states would reject the plan because many state legislatures did not trust a central government. Even while fighting the Revolutionary War, it took 4 years for the states to agree on a plan of government. Finally, the states realized that they had to cooperate or lose the war. The Articles were ratified in 1781. You know the story of how the Patriots under General George Washington won our independence in the Revolutionary War. However, after winning the war, the new government had to face another challenge, a struggling economy. Congress and the states had borrowed money to buy war supplies. Now they could not pay off these huge debts because they did not have enough gold and silver to back up their printed money. Many Americans and foreigners lost confidence in the value of American money. Another problem was that the new Congress had no power to regulate trade with England. Americans were buying most of their manufactured goods from England because prices were low. American merchants could not sell their goods as cheaply as the English. Congress could not help because it did not have the power to raise the prices of English goods by taxing them. Furthermore, England no longer allowed Americans to trade with English colonies in the British West Indies, one of the most important markets for American crops and manufactured goods. Many farmers slid into debt, largely because they could not sell their crops to the Caribbean colonies. Farmers in Massachusetts faced an added problem. To pay its war debts, the state legislature had sharply raised taxes on land. Many farmers who were unable to pay the taxes faced loss of their farms. Local courts threatened to sell their farms and use the money to pay the taxes. In 1786, hundreds of angry Massachusetts farmers, led by a former war hero named Daniel Shays, stormed into courthouses to disrupt court business. Congress did not have the power to force other states to help put down the uprising. Massachusetts had to use its own state militia to crush the rebellion. Newspapers quickly spread word of the violent clash, which shocked many people throughout the states. Many Americans called for a stronger national government, one that would keep law and order and solve the economic problems that had led to Shays' rebellion. George Washington thought that the Articles of Confederation had weakened Congress, leaving it unable to keep order, raise money through taxes, or deal effectively with European nations. He wrote, "The Confederation appears to me to be little more than a shadow without substance." Most Americans agreed that the 13 proud and independent states would have to face the challenge of establishing a stronger government. Their future was at stake. So that's the way it is with Lesson 4, Part 4, Organizing a New Nation. At this point, you should know that the constitutions of the newly independent states were intended to limit tyranny. The Articles of Confederation loosely united the states under a weak national government, but it had its drawbacks. And as the economic effects of independence increased and led to chaos, the need for a stronger national government became more evident. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have the entire catalog of civics videos available at your fingertips. Click the subscribe button and then click the follow bell to receive notifications as to when the channel is updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in class, Dragons.